20s, and it's going to take until sometime the following week before we have a chance at 30s.
Warming shelters in Milwaukee will extend their hours this weekend. Some will be open all day starting today. Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley tells WTMJ.
No one will get turned away. I mean, even if we reach capacity, we will make sure that everybody is safe from this bitter cold.
For a list of warming centers across southeast Wisconsin, text the word warm to the WTMJ Sighting Unlimited Talk and Text line 855-616-1620, and your complete 5-day WTMJ forecast coming up in less than 10 minutes. A Milwaukee apartment loses heat and running water in the cold, prompting the Department of Neighborhood Services to order an evacuation. The building owned by Barad Properties near 28th and Wisconsin Avenue was evacuated Thursday afternoon. DNS spokesperson Jeremy McGovern tells our news partners at TMJ4.
There was no timetable of when water would be fixed, when the heating situation would be fixed. So with this weather, with the weather getting worse over the next couple of days, it truly is a life safety issue.
The city will provide temporary housing for displaced residents while repairs are made. Despite the bitter cold, protests scheduled for today in Minneapolis in response to the ICE operations, that incident involving a 5-year-old detained with his father and sent to a facility in Texas. More from ABC's Matt Rivers in Minneapolis.
During a visit here in Minneapolis Thursday, Vice President J.D. Vance saying the agents were protecting the child.
Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death?
The family's attorney insisting father and son entered the United States legally.
Liam and his dad did enter the United States at a port of entry to seek asylum. They've shared all of their information with the government, and they were following the process.
The child was coming home from school with his dad when they were cornered by ICE agents in their driveway. The child's school says there were adults in the house who were offering to take him inside, but agents refused. Negotiations expected to continue between the U.S., Denmark, Greenland, and NATO regarding President Trump's desire to acquire Greenland. President Trump, back at the White House, said talks went great in Davos, but ABC's Mary Bruce says it's not clear what the terms of the so-called framework deal are.
The president is promising that clarity will come in, quote, 2 weeks, but that's a deadline that he often uses for various issues and one he often blows past.
Sources say a possible deal could allow the U.S. to occupy more of Greenland militarily and to gain access to the island's rare earth minerals. Decision Wisconsin, the former CEO of the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, wants to focus on roads, utilities, and education as governor. Democratic candidate Missy Hughes tells WTMJ's Point Taken that's what Wisconsin companies want.
So taxes are going to come and go. That's not how they're doing their planning. Tax incentives, tax credits, the things that we would talk about at WEDC, the tools in our toolbox, were literally some of the last things that we would talk about. It was maybe a sweetener.
Hughes also has a plan for housing with a goal to build 2,000 homes. Time now for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow is down 187 points. NASDAQ up 167. S&P 500 up 18. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's 4 walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
This time, that station won't make your ad. Next time, another station will come up with it. If there's one thing your small budget needs, it's consistency with your message and your media buy. It's easy to buy the flavor of the month. It's difficult to trust a plan because you'd probably be experimenting. Our plans have been proven to work. We'll get you the lowest rates, give you a consistent message that sets your business apart, and then we'll build you efficient, top-of-mind awareness. Anderson-Smith.com. We help small business advertisers get better results. We'll make your ads potent, memorable, and effective. Whether it's radio, TV, billboards, or digital, our understanding of the market and long-standing relationships are unmatched. Anderson Smith represents a substantial amount of advertising billing, which will benefit you in getting much more for your ad dollar. Our compensation model is designed to make it affordable for businesses like yours to use us. And we hold on to our clients because what we do works, and they trust us. Anderson-Smith.com. We help small business advertisers get better results.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Bucks take on the Nuggets tonight at home. Milwaukee enters the game at 18-31 this season. The Wisconsin men's basketball team extended its winning streak to 5 games. Badgers beat Penn State 98-71 on the road. UW returns home Sunday to take on USC. Milwaukee lost to Robert Morris 88-76 on the road. Today, Marquette will face Butler on the road. Milwaukee women's basketball team got back in the win column, beating Detroit Mercy 76-68 at home. Milwaukee returns to the court Saturday to host Oakland. Badger Sports Update, sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. All lanes now open at I-794 westbound at Oklahoma Avenue. The left lane was blocked by a broken down vehicle. Earlier fire on 43 north, about a half mile beyond I-41. The right 2 lanes were blocked there. Looks like there may still be some slowing. I-41 north, about a quarter of a mile beyond Rawson Avenue. Left shoulder blocked due to a disabled vehicle. And then one off right, 41 north, about a quarter of a mile beyond the ramp from Ryan Road.
Traffic is sponsored by the amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
The Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford is hiring line cooks, dishwashers, and third shift cleaners. You'll make real money. Parents and grandparents, tell your kids. Inquire today and start next week.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Fleet Farm Storm Team Alert. Extreme cold warning in effect until 1 today for all of southeast Wisconsin. Extreme cold warning until 6 a.m. tomorrow for Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, Dodge, Washington, and Ozaukee counties. Cold weather advisory in effect until 12 p.m. tomorrow for all of southeast Wisconsin. High today 4 below 0. Wind chills 25 to 35 below. Tonight overnight low 11 below 0. Tomorrow mostly sunny but still very cold. High of 6. Sunday mostly cloudy. Slight chance of snow and a high of 14. Cold on Monday, but sunshine with a high of 10. Sunny skies Tuesday with a high of 14. Right now, Madison 15 below, Green Bay 16 below, and Milwaukee 11 below 0. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
And good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Kristin Brey, how are you on this fine Friday?
I'm ready for the weekend.
Yeah, I think you are, because you have some exciting plans. Maybe we'll dip into that later. But I'm just hanging out. I'm going to read. I'm going to watch football. I'll have some wine. That's my weekend.
Are you doing science experiments where you throw hot water into the air and see if it freezes midair?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm doom scrolling a little bit yesterday, because I managed my time. I saw probably 10 different people do the same damn experiment. How many times do you have to watch that before it's like, why are you doing that? You throw the water up, it freezes in the air, it looks cool, and then you're done.
Yeah.
What's the point after you've seen it 100 times?
I mean, I don't think it's about seeing anything. It's about doing it.
No, I don't want to do it. I know what happens.
Okay, then don't do it.
The thing about doing things is you want to experience something you've never experienced before.
Have you done it before?
I've done it a long time ago, yeah.
Okay.
Because my dad was a meteorologist. You know this.
Was he?
All right, let's get to it. We have a special guest today. She's like looking at us like, are you too crazy? Like, what kind of show are you doing?
Is this how this always goes?
Is this weird like this? No. Sarah Godlewski, Secretary of State of the State of Wisconsin, joins us on the program.
Well, thanks, Steve and Kristin, for having me. I think this is a great way for me to end my week.
Yeah.
It is
Thanks for coming down from Madison.
Yeah, I got up. I'm wearing what I like to call my sleeping bag jacket. It literally looks like a sleeping bag with just a zipper. It's cold out there.
You need it this morning, yeah.
It's cold out there.
And for all the texters, Bill and Joe are on hiatus this week. They've got a lot of stuff going on. We won't go into the details, but they're busy, which we love the fact that they're always here, but every once in a while we got to give them a day off.
Yeah.
Today's that day off.
And then you get stuck with me.
And now we're with Sarah.
Stop with the stuck stuff. All right. I always want to do this because we always assume everybody knows everything about like elected officials.
Yeah.
For the people who don't know, what's your job?
So I'm the Secretary of State.
Yeah, we know that
for
part.
Wisconsin.
What after that?
So I think what Wisconsin's Secretary of State, just first of all, is a bit of a unique position because unlike almost 90% of the other secretaries of state, we do not administer elections.
But we do a lot of interesting work when it comes to international things. So like if you would ever want to study abroad or expand your business overseas, your paperwork has to come from us. So we manage like 17,000 cases a year. My first one was actually a cheese company that wanted to expand to South America. So
interesting.
That's kind of some of the work.
It's also like international adoption and stuff like that. I feel like you and I talked about once.
So if you would want to adopt a child, you would have to come through us in your paperwork. And you can't get this work done by like the Minnesota Secretary of State or Illinois. It has to come from our office.
Are you an attorney?
I am not an attorney.
Wow.
No.
Are some Secretary of States, I would guess they have that legal background because you do a lot of those kind of things, right?
Some. I mean, I think some are attorneys. I think for me it was more from my background in kind of business and management and how we're going to manage all these cases and get these things done. Because, when you want to adopt a child, you can't wait a month to get that paperwork done. Right. Like we got to be able to do that and turn that around quickly.
So from your perspective, because you mentioned it, should Wisconsin's Secretary of State manage our elections?
I mean, I think that is honestly, Steve, a question that we as Wisconsinites need to have more. And the reason why I say that is we know that our elections have evolved from basically since like the 1970s. We used to have what was called the Government Accountability Board, where it was a group of judges that would oversee our elections. And we were really the first in the country to establish more of a kind of a council to do this. Then during the Walker administration, they got rid of the Government Accountability Board and switched it to what's now the Wisconsin Election Commission, where it's comprised of 3 Democrats and 3 Republicans. Now, you don't have to be a Democrat or Republican to know how much can get done when you have a 3-3 mix. And furthermore,
but to their credit, they get a fair amount done. And there's sometimes when it's like 5-1 or whatever. It's not always just split down the middle on votes.
I think where our difference is, and I think this is a really good conversation we should bring to the public, is that unlike a lot of states, their Secretary of State is advocating for them at the federal level for whether it is like election reform or finances, like supporting their clerks. And we don't necessarily have that structure to do that. And so I think it's like an interesting conversation and what that could look like and what that could be.
So did the Secretary of State in Wisconsin ever administer elections? Like when Belle Phillips had this role, was she in charge of elections?
So it did. It did at one point.
Okay.
It did. So, but again, I think it's in the 70s is maybe when it switched over.
Okay.
So those who were paying attention yesterday know that Jack Smith testified in front of Congress.
Yeah.
Looking back at all the work that his office did, looking into the actions of the President of the United States, and no surprise, I've talked about it before, I believe in what Jack Smith did, and I believe that the evidence he pushed forward yesterday was pretty convincing. From your perspective, looking back now at how we reacted after the 2020 election, and all of the Gableman stuff, and I heard state reps say we should have our election do-over, stupid things people were saying.
Yeah.
And the pushback against what essentially turned out to be a normal election process in a busy year, right?
Right.
And by the way, let's throw the pandemic on top of that, and then we'll have little nuances based on that. Looking back now, how do you view that period in our history as far as elections, since we're talking about it?
I think what is, to me, really sad is that they were trying to change the elections based on partisanship instead of what the will of the people wanted. I mean, in Wisconsin, we are no strangers to close elections. We literally only win by a few votes every single year. And all of a sudden, 2020 just was this like anomaly of a year when the reality of it is that it wasn't for Wisconsin. And we had our winner and we needed to move forward instead of like litigating and creating an alternative narrative. And Steve, I started watching some of Jack Smith stuff as well. And I think what was so frustrating for me throughout this is that I saw with my own eyes. I mean, I remember turning on the news, watching the attacks that were happening on our state capitol, being like, is this real? And they're trying to change what history we saw.
What I love about this story is, and this is where my Republican friends get angry, is if you go back and listen to what maybe all of them, Republicans and conservatives, said on that day, they're saying the same thing that most of us now say every day. Is that this was crazy, stop it immediately, yeah. What's going on here, this is not the country we live in. And all of those people, and I could name names, but so the list is long. From Lindsey Graham to you name a
Mike Gallagher.
All of them.
Cruz.
Mike Gallagher, famous for his CNN live call-in. We're not a banana republic. That quote. It's so frustrating that in the madness of a world where we don't even know what facts are now, these facts are clear, and yet we still want to argue about them. That's my frustration as somebody who does what we do. It's so frustrating to me.
Yeah, and I think what I also think about and what I saw is as a result of what happened on January 6th is that like clerks were being attacked, and these are civil servants. Many of them in our state who do not get paid, who do this work because they care about our democracy, are being attacked and being told that they are liars or not doing their jobs.
We have to go to break, but we'll close this out by saying I know a lot of city and county clerks. I worked closely with them when I was an elected official. They, as a group, as a brand, they do some of the best work of any group of people in the state.
And they get paid so much. So you know.
All the big bucks that they do, that volunteer job that
it's
a
very
lot of them are
competitive
in.
job. Many people want to do
High
that
pressure,
kind of job with
all
that
the
much
scrutiny,
stress and that much.
And there's low pay.
Yeah,
That's their job. Obviously, a full hour with Godlewski, Secretary of State. State of Wisconsin, lots more to talk about, including what's going on in the state beyond elections and all of that. We'll continue the conversation on Point Taken with Kristin and Steve on 620 WTMJ.
Ever wonder what it takes to feel truly wealthy and financially comfortable? Schwab asked Americans that question, and most said at least $2 million. But here's the thing, your number might be different. And that makes sense because your dreams, travel, retirement, and the legacy you want to leave are unique to you. That's why you need advice that's just as personal. The team at Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen and help you build a plan that fits your life. Click the Get Started button at annexwealth.com.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is this weekend only inside the arena at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds. Millions of inventory must be sold. Prices are slashed up to 60% off retail, so save thousands. Save big on new hot tubs, spas, and saunas. Also cold tubs. Plus, see the Michael Phelps Signature Swim Spas by Master Spas.
Hi, I'm Michael Phelps. Join the swimming revolution.
The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show this weekend only inside the arena at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds. Visit 800spasale.com.
Do you have a spot that's too cold in the winter, but if you jack up the heat, the rest of the house is too warm? Vince Vitrano for USA Insulation. Time to get Jeff and his team out to your house. Proper insulation from USA forms a thermal barrier that maintains warmth in the winter and coolness in the summer. Time to get in on thousands of dollars of government efficiency credits. Jeff and his team at USA Insulation find the grants, rebates, reductions, and they discount the cost of your project up front. Get started at usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
No altitude, no excuses. This is Milwaukee.
Ahead to Giannis. Giannis rumbling the other way, and he's doing more damage on the rim. Taking it out on that rim.
The Bucks take on the Denver Nuggets at Fiserv Forum.
Feet inside. Giannis underneath the defense, and he's hanging on the rim again. Onto the Kumpo with another rack attack.
Our Bucks Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 8 on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
Thanks for joining us on this Friday on Point Taken. If you missed any or all of our interviews, including with Sarah Godlewski, who's joining us in studio for this full hour on this Friday edition, this cold Friday here in Wisconsin and probably most of the country this weekend. You can find it at WTMJ.com or wherever you get your podcasts. The number one listened to show in the podcast formats on this station, which we are very proud of.
Yeah.
I'm very proud
Absolutely.
of it. Yeah. You good?
I am good.
All right. You looked at me like you were panicked for some reason.
No, I'm trying to find some information.
All right.
I'm proud of you guys.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for that, Sarah. This is one of those topics that you could talk an hour about it and probably longer. Data centers in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So my big thing is I'm a technology guy, not in the use of technology, but the understanding that it's important.
Yep.
We're well into our embrace of AI technology for the show and how we market the show and all those things. My fundamental question is this, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. How much protection, because we know that the Assembly and Senate have been debating this legislation.
Well, the Assembly passed a GOP bill.
And Senate's taking their time, according to Deborah.
And then there's been Jody Havish-Sinekin introduced a bill
Mm-hmm.
in the Senate that I don't think has gotten much traction. But yes, there's competing bills. Are either of them comprehensive? TBD.
Well, so I'll just share my thoughts with you on this. I mean, I do believe that AI and tech jobs, like, they have a place and that Wisconsin can provide an opportunity. But here's the thing that just as an underlining principle that I honestly think a lot about, is that we have seen these AI companies. They are owned by billionaires. I mean, they are billion-dollar companies, and who's their number one priority? It's their shareholders. It's not Wisconsinites. And so I believe that Wisconsin's government needs to do everything it can to make sure that those AI companies are going to be responsible to Wisconsin. And so I think that means we have to have good paying, Wisconsin jobs. We've got to make sure that we are protecting our water and that we are providing, communities local control. But I think at the end of the day, when you don't think about it from who at the end of the day, what the purpose is of that company, they're responsible for their shareholders and they're not responsible to the people of Wisconsin. And that's why we have to do something.
Are we going too fast?
I think this bill in the Assembly was rushed. I mean, if you look at the way that the Republicans rushed this bill, they introduced it the first of, I think it was January 9th, and then they already voted on it this week. And what's interesting is that their number one takeaway with this bill is they're like, we're going to protect ratepayers. And we have seen in states like Indiana, when you don't protect ratepayers, Wisconsinites are the ones that are going to carry that weight. But what the PSC, who is responsible for rates and making sure Wisconsin citizens with their utility bills, they've even said in their testimony that's written, I read it, Steve, they go, we can't ensure this in the way the bill is written.
I read those words on the air yesterday because that concerned me.
So why are we rushing this through when they have literally said we can't do this? And what's fascinating is that the Democrats, I'm going to give them credit, did figure out a way by creating basically a new kind of utility class specified for data centers so they could track it. They said you can even take this amendment to help the PSC regulate it. And they said no.
So as far as the different levels of government, and when we talk about at the local level, we know that the big ones that have been negotiated and are happening. Port Washington, which is still pretty contentious, even though there's no stopping it. What's happening in the for where Foxconn was supposed to be. It's a different situation there because they're just happy something's going in there, right? Like they already fought this battle as far as
and already paid for the infrastructure.
Yes, and so that's a little different. But as far as the local control and the local decisions, because I sat down with Ted Knightsky to talk about this is a town that 80% of their revenue comes from residents, right? Like they don't have, Port Washington is not a hub of business where they have tax revenue coming in to pay for old infrastructure and update things. And so there is this argument as far as local towns, a lot of in Wisconsin that are trying to find new ways to get more tax revenue in, their ability to negotiate these deals at a local level versus the state regulation and how much the state needs to be able to come in because, let's be honest, a common council is made up of a variety of different people with variety different kind of experiences that may or may not be able to negotiate with Silicon Valley lawyers. And so when you look at this, as far as what levels of government need to be involved, how do you see the perfect kind of balance, if there is a perfect balance?
Well, I think that first of all, I think there has to be a partnership because to your point, Kristin, what, Menominee wants is not what Port Washington wants, which is not what Southeast Wisconsin wants. But I think where, the state needs to come in, for example, is with water. Because when you look at whether it's from Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, or our aquifers, that doesn't just impact that one community. They're getting their groundwater that supports maybe that entire county, as an example. And so I think how we are looking at water is really important. I think another big piece of it is that why do these communities want these jobs want these companies is because they want jobs. Yeah. And I think we've got to make sure that these are good paying union Wisconsin jobs, because what we've seen is that when we don't write that in, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, and Michigan are actually getting the benefits that, oh, by the way, we're giving them a sales and use tax that our taxpayers are paying, but they're taking workers from outside of the state. And so I think that there are things that we have to put in place because, to your point, these local governments, some of them are really small. They don't have full-time lawyers. They don't have lawyers that can beat Silicon Valley. And we have to, at the very least, have a protective framework that's going to be in the best interest of Wisconsinites.
Sarah Godlewski joining us, Secretary of State of the state of Wisconsin. Lots more to get to on Point Taken on 620 WTMJ after this.
The only place to get this.
And mercifully, this one comes to a close as the Bucks will go back to the drawing board again.
With some of this.
From 2018 through 2023, you had consistency. You beat the teams you were supposed to beat. There's been a lot of inconsistency issues and, frankly, disappointment these past 2+ seasons now.
Get it all on Bucks Talk, your all-encompassing Milwaukee Bucks postgame show. Only heard here on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ. Steve Scaffidi. Milwaukee weight loss changed my life, can change yours as well. Changes the lives of thousands of people in our area. Incredible metabolic reset. What does that mean? Changes the way you eat, changes the way you look at food and your diet. And it does not do the things that a lot of plans do. You don't have to get shots, you don't have to get injections, none of the prepackaged meals, none of the gimmicky stuff, meals, bars, shakes. Just reevaluating yourself and your life and how you look at the weight that you carry on your body and what that feels like. Here's what I want you to do. Go to visit MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Many patients like me lost 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two. Call for your free consultation. It's as easy as that. No pressure. 262-449-1180. That's 262-449-1180. It's an easy start. Want a resolution for the new year that actually makes sense. It worked for me last year. MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
2026 Brewers Group tickets are on sale now, and planning your next event at American Family Field has never been easier. Whether it's a company outing, family reunion, or night out with friends, bring your group of 15 or more to the ballpark and enjoy up to 25% off single game tickets with no service fees. All Brewers home games are available now. Start planning today, and a Brewers Group ticket rep will handle the rest. But hurry, tickets are moving fast. Plan your 2026 outing at brewers.com/groups.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Couple of minutes before the bottom of the hour news for you kids. That's 10:30. I know you don't look at the clock the same way that I do. I love that joke, even though it shows that I'm an old man.
Did you have a clock face? You don't have an Apple Watch. So yeah, it is bottom of the hour on your watch.
Yeah. I love it. Anyway, Sarah Godlewski, our guest, Secretary of State of Wisconsin. Just final point. We were talking during the break. To me, it's simple. This is unique use. Data centers are the scale, the energy consumption, obviously the water use, and it sounds like they sort of found some solutions for that. In this legislation, for this use, and this use only, until we find another one that takes what they take, you have to protect the individual rate taxpayers. It seems like a no-brainer to me. Why can't that be a starting point on this legislation? I don't understand why that is, because I talk to people all the time. They email me. Their energy bills this year are way higher than last year with the same temperatures, essentially, which is sort of surprising. $100 more for an average household. That's just this year. What happens when all this stuff happens?
Well, and I think that's why the ratepayer stuff is really important, but we have to make sure it's going to succeed. And right now, the way that the bill's written, I mean, the PSC has said it won't succeed. I think the other big piece of it, to your point, Steve, is that we know data centers are going to be using our utilities and our electric grid. And we need to be able to make sure they're going to be paying for that construction, because something we saw in Foxconn is that these smaller municipalities took on the burden to pay for the infrastructure and then were never reimbursed when Foxconn happened. And so we have to make sure, again, going back to protecting our communities against these billionaire companies, that if they're going to come, they're also going to pay for the infrastructure and be responsible for it, because that shouldn't be burdened by, I think, the citizens of the state.
Well, I was going to say, and also be responsible if and when the buildings themselves are obsolete.
Right.
So we don't have massive 40, thousands and thousands of acres of a building that can't be used for anything else.
Right.
All right, we got local news coming up with the awesome Connie Weber. Before we get to any of that, here's now the latest 1, 2, 3 from ABC.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:31. I'm Connie Weber. A bitter cold today. How long will it last?
We also got green.
TMJ4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson on what to expect.
Some improvement this afternoon, but a extreme cold warning continues until 1 o'clock for the entire area. Our northern communities are going to keep that warning criteria all the way through tomorrow morning. And then for elsewhere across the area, cold weather advisory will come online, and then we will continue that until early tomorrow afternoon. So you're talking about dangerous cold through tonight and into tomorrow, but by noon on our Saturday, we will start to see some improvement.
Then this weekend, the possibility of snow. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in less than 5 minutes. An armed man on the run after nobody found inside a submerged car in a Madison lake. Rescue teams responded to Brittingham Park on Madison's south side just after 6 a.m. Thursday morning. Tire tracks showed the SUV approximately 125 yards offshore, submerged fully underwater in ice in Monona Bay. Divers searched the car but didn't find anyone inside. Madison police say that car was involved in an armed carjacking outside Unity Point Health, Meriter Hospital just minutes before. The suspect, 55-year-old Derek Newton, considered armed and dangerous. Wisconsin Eye could be a step closer to coming back on air. A bill unveiled Thursday would finance Wisconsin Eye through interest on a $10 million trust fund made of dollars previously earmarked for the service provided. They could match that money on their own. The bill would require some fundraising from Wisconsin Eye, and a GoFundMe starting this month has raised nearly $50,000 to support the service. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management market update. Dow is down 265 points, 49,118. Nasdaq up 108, 23,554. S&P 500 up 8 points at 6,921. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I-94 east at the ramp from 35th Street. Left lane was closed due to a disabled vehicle. That has been cleared off. And all lanes open now at I-74 westbound at Oklahoma Avenue. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. A Fleet Farm storm team alert, extreme cold warning in effect until 1 p.m. today for all of southeast Wisconsin. Then the extreme cold warning continues till 6 a.m. tomorrow for Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, Dodge, Washington, and Ozaukee counties. Cold weather advisory in effect until 12 p.m. Saturday for all of southeast Wisconsin. High today, 4 below zero, wind chills 25 to 35 below. Mostly clear and cold tonight with a low 11 below zero. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, still very cold, a high of 6. Sunday, mostly cloudy, slight chance of snow, high 14. Sunny and cold on Monday with a high 10, and Tuesday, sunny with a high of 14. Madison and Green Bay both still at 15 below, Milwaukee 10 below zero. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1033.
She's been putting off knee surgery for years, and she had a trip coming up to Ireland, and she knew she was going to be walking a lot more than she had become accustomed to. So she finally took a chance and called for an appointment. And you know, it ended up helping her. She was able to do the walking and sightseeing pain-free. It led to an enjoyable trip, and I think we're going to be able to help her live a better life going forward. One that won't let pain stand in her way any longer. This is Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and these are the kind of real-life stories I love to hear. Pain can take so much away from us, and when we can alleviate that kind of pain, it makes our purpose here at Rejuvenex that much more fulfilling. Don't let pain stand in your way any longer. Every day is precious. Take that next step. Schedule your appointment at Rejuvenex and start living your life again.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Take a look at our Google reviews to learn more.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The new year means new resolutions, not just for your body, but for your finances as well. Did you know that financial health is directly related to your identity protection? This is why you need LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your subscription money back. Resolve to make your identity, health, and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Visit LifeLock.com and save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Terms apply.
Well, welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin. He is Steve. Joe and Bill are off this week. One of them's back next week. I think Joe's back next week.
We're here.
But we're here, and we're here with Secretary of State Sarah Godlewski, talking about a lot of different things. And so let's talk. So you are currently running for Lieutenant Governor.
I am.
Unopposed.
So
far.
Yeah.
That's gotta be cool.
Which makes life a little bit easier as far as doing your job and campaigning.
Right. Working hard all the time.
But let's just start with why, as far as we know that we have a very crowded field for governor. And I think before the field kind of settled, at one point, before you announced you're running for lieutenant governor, your name was thrown out there as potential. Why not run for that? And why run for lieutenant governor instead?
I'll say for me, it was really what's the best way I can help and serve Wisconsin. And I just kept thinking over and over again how much opportunity there is with the lieutenant governor's office. And you're a team player, like you're working with the legislature, you're working with the governor, you're working with the cabinet. And so for me, I was like, this is the best way I can really serve and help the state. Because I think one thing that's really important to remind folks is that while I'm the Secretary of State, I did not run for this office. I was asked to step in when Doug LaFollette unexpectedly resigned. And so, and I'm, really honored and proud of the work that we've done and really grateful Governor Evers asked me, but I did not, this was not,
Who's running for this role? I actually have not. Has anyone announced that they're running for Secretary of State for this year?
Yeah. I'm actually not sure on the Republican side, but Joe Costa, the current, who is a Common Council rep here in Milwaukee.
Alderman here.
She's running for Secretary of State.
Got it. Okay. So as far as now that you can talk about the people who are actually running.
Yeah.
What are you? I mean, I commented this when I was there for the forum on Wednesday night. Like, it's a very funny thing to hug all the people who are, right? When you see them, you're like, oh, I know all these people. Like, a lot of them, I have their number in my phone. And over the years of doing this job, I have relationships with so many, like all of the candidates to a certain extent. You probably even more so than me. And so are you going to endorse?
No. And
okay.
And here's,
so, like, what is this like for you personally and professionally as you have a very crowded field of people, all of whom I think are very competent.
Right.
But, like, what is this like for you as you watch this field, the advice you're giving, and how you're watching everyone campaign?
Well, and I will say, I think we saw this at the forum, Kristin. Like, for people that watched, I mean, I'm really proud to be a Democrat in the fact that we have such a big tent. I mean, when you look at the 7 folks that are up there, whether it is someone who ran like the Greater Milwaukee Foundation, to another individual who is a restaurant owner, to someone living in rural Wisconsin, to, the county exec in Milwaukee, like there is a vast spread of different experiences and perspectives. And that's what I think I value that makes Wisconsin great. And we're seeing that in the conversations that I think are happening from these gubernatorial candidates. But to your point about what's the advice and kind of what I think folks should be doing, I mean, you got to travel the state. You got to remember Wisconsin is a state of almost 6 million people. And what makes, I think, people good elected officials, they show up. Like, they'll show up in Osseo, they'll show up in Milwaukee, they'll show up in Port Washington. Like, they show up and actually talk to you and listen. I always joke that when I was elected, my mom, who's a now retired public school teacher, she's like, Sarah, remember, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, more listening and less talking. And so I think these candidates got to listen, because that's what helps you be the best elected official.
I don't know if you're going to answer this question or not, but do you see yourself as a governor at some point in your future?
Oh my gosh. Steve, I don't even know what I'm making dinner for my kid tonight.
But everybody's got a plan. I had a plan. Kristin has a plan. Everybody's got a plan.
It's also a Senate race 2 years from now.
Senate race?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be like, if you would have told me I would even be sitting here as a Secretary of State, I would have said, like, that's wild. Or even that I led a constitutional amendment to save the state treasurer's office. Like, what a nerdy thing. That was never in my life plan. Like, I actually, I started my career working and supporting at the Pentagon. Like, I didn't think that this was going to, like, be
Did you think you were going to come back to Wisconsin?
I really didn't know. I wanted to always come home. And part of the reason why I went to school out of state and I just I did want to be home, but I couldn't find a job here.
That you wanted or couldn't find a job at all?
That honestly paid a livable wage. I had almost $70,000 in student debt. And it was hard for me to honestly find a job at the time. And so, that opportunity to move home happened a lot later. But I didn't really know where that was going to lead me.
To be determined.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're young, yeah. Secretary of State Sarah Godlewski, our guest in studio. Kristin,
everyone's
Steve.
young compared to Steve.
Well, thank you for pointing out the obvious there, Kristin. After the break, lots to talk about. We could talk about I think it was one of the last questions posed to the group of candidates, Democratic candidates, and that's about ICE in the state of Wisconsin. Controversial topic. Kristin and I have spent a lot of time talking about the what's happening on the ground in Minnesota. We'll get to that and more with our guest, Sarah Godlewski, after this on Point Taken.
Restaurant inflation is everywhere, but not at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. The Friday haddock fish fry is all you care to eat. All other dinners are buy one, get one free, including the pan-fried walleye, the pecan-crusted salmon. They've got new dishes. They're delicious. I was just there. Try the new twin lobster tails. Braised pork shank, and the mixed grill of a filet, shrimp, and scallops, all buy one, get one free. Any entree and dessert, buy one, get one free. Even the ice cream drinks, even on the weekend. Unwind with an old-fashioned. Choose from 20 bourbons, 100 wines in the Fox and Hound's Old World Rustic Bar, 8 dining rooms, 7 real wood-burning fireplaces. It's so cozy as soon as you walk in the door. Thousands of holiday lights and decorations are still up. It's amazing and beautiful. Saturday, your second prime rib dinner is free. Also serving Saturday lunch from 11 to 2, just off Highway 167 near Holy Hill. Google Fox and Hounds. It's the famous Fox and Hounds. Tables are open from 4 p.m.
Anybody out there like political ads? I already know your answer. And it's because a lot of them are bad. Phony dialogue with the sound effects of a diner in the background, dramatic voiceovers with scary music that changes into happy, hopeful music when the candidate being pushed is described. Whatever happened to an honest pitch from a candidate that doesn't sound like they're reading, but rather expressing their genuine passion to bring about change? Use us and we'll drive that home, and voters will believe you. Anderson-Smith.com. We will help you win in the next election.
Making a big advertising budget work? To us, that's easy. We feel that our ability to make small advertising budgets work in a big way truly demonstrates we really do know what we're doing. And that's why we should talk. We'll take your advertising budget, put it to work, and if history tells us anything, it will be the best investment in your business that you've ever made. Go to Anderson-Smith.com, email me, and I'll call you in short order. Because small or big budget, we help advertisers get better results.
Get big-time savings for the whole family at Fleet Farm's first truckload super sale of the year. 50-pound bags of Sprout Poultry Crumble and Pellet Feed are $11.99. Save 20% on clear Sterlite storage totes. 12 packs of Scott Comfort Plus toilet paper are just $3.49. And save 25% on Skechers footwear for the family. Load up at Fleet Farm's Truckload Super Sale, January 22nd through the 25th. And check out all the truckload deals at fleetfarm.com.
Put a little wow in your winter at the 31st Annual Lake Geneva Winterfest and America's Snow Sculpting Invitational, January 28th through February 1st. Watch 15 top teams create breathtaking masterpieces in snow right before your very eyes. Enjoy bonfires on the beach, a kids' play area, live entertainment, and a sparkling downtown ice sculpture walk. Plan your Winterfest getaway at visitlakeggeneva.com. Lake Geneva, where it's always been the place for winter magic.
We know that the people of Milwaukee are hard workers, that they're tough. But even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Thanks for joining us on this Friday. Hope you're staying warm. I think we got a couple really cold days, and it sort of eases a little bit. But I look next week, still going to be cold.
Winter. It's winter in Wisconsin.
It's brutal, though.
Yeah, it is brutal.
It's brutal.
It like what I was telling a guy in Vegas when I was there last time, because he goes, "How can you live in Wisconsin?" I go, "Well, there are times we walk outside, it hurts our face." He goes, "Why would you put up with that?" Because there's all the other stuff that why we love, why you came back, why you came back, why I went to California briefly, but I came back a long time ago. It's the great states.
Yeah.
On a great lake, that's what they tell me. Anyway, this is a serious topic. Not the other ones weren't, but I was curious about your thoughts. Chris and I have talked extensively about what's happening on the ground in Minnesota, Minneapolis, and the idea that a campaign pledge to round up criminals in this country illegally and undocumented has now turned into what I think is a significant overreach, resulting, by the way, in the killing, because I just saw a report yesterday that the autopsy done, paid for by the victim's family, but showed that the third shot killed her, third shot to the sort of side of her head. Your thoughts on what's happening on the ground in Minneapolis when it comes to this enforcement by ICE?
I will say in my work, there's always stories that kind of give you a gut punch. And for me this week, it was watching how a 5-year-old kid was snatched up by ICE, and him and his dad were sent to a detention center in Texas. And I think about that, and why I think that was such a gut punch is that's how old my son is. And I think about, like, he still sleeps with his teddy bear. He sleeps with 3 nightlights because he's afraid of the dark. And these kids aren't criminals. I mean, I'm all about, we have to keep our communities safe. Like, don't get me wrong, but what we are seeing with ICE, they're not keeping our communities safe. Like, they're actually, I think the way that things are being handled is they're not even following the Fourth Amendment and entering homes. Like, this isn't about safety anymore. And that's alarming.
I mean, so what we saw, was it last week, where current Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez came out pretty strongly through her campaign of saying what she would do with ICE. And Governor Evers kind of was like, I don't know if we can do that. And so I don't know how privy you are to the conversations that are happening inside the governor's administration, but even talking to people who work in David Crowley's office in Milwaukee County, as far as like, what is the messaging? What is the plan if ICE were to show up in that kind of numbers here? Because the message can't be like, if they're going to do illegal things to you, you do illegal things back to them, right? Because it's like, this is the federal government.
And I think that's like a really big point, Kristin. Like, I've been talking with police officers, for example, and in Minneapolis. And one of the things that they've said is so difficult is the rules of the game, like due process. What they are trained on as professional law enforcement is different than what these ICE agents are. And it's causing confusion and chaos because they have to actually serve people warrants. Like, they're not allowed to do racial profiling. Like, they're not just picking up kids and sending them to detention centers. And so it's creating this system that is making the community, in essence, like, it's hard for police to do their jobs because these ICE agents, the rules are, in fact, different.
Do you think that style of enforcement is coming to Wisconsin at some point? Because that's the question for us, right? Is it coming to Milwaukee? I've heard some reports from northern Wisconsin. They've already had some of this, and we just don't hear a lot about it.
I mean, I think we also have to be very real about why is this happening? It's because Donald Trump is going after people that he has an issue with. Why is he in Minnesota?
Why is he in Maine?
Why is he going to Maine? He's going to Maine because Governor Janet Mills stood up to Donald Trump and said, I'll see you in court and I'll win. And guess who won? The state of Maine and Governor Mills. And so to me, this isn't about, again, picking communities that need to be safe. It's about going after his political enemies. And it is like, in some way, shape, or form, he's weaponizing the justice system against our neighbors.
We're both very outspoken. In fact, this is an overreach, and we do not like the way this is being handled. But because there's another side, and this hour is generally spent talking about the other side, there are a lot of people that say the president promised us he would remove people that are in this country illegally and undocumented. What do you say to those people? All those people who think that, and while that support has dwindled, there's still a big chunk of Americans who still believe that.
So you want to tell me that, we saw, for example, former veterans that have been American citizens that are being kicked out or detained. Those are the criminals that he's, arresting, or the thousands of kids that are in the detention center. Those are the awful, murderous criminals that Donald Trump is arresting. I mean, help me understand the hundreds of thousands of people. And from that, we are seeing a lot of innocent folks. And to me, that's not keeping our community safe.
That's a great point. That's why Chris and I think are on the same page on this. The overreach in here is massive. And the fact that a woman driving a car who is probably no threat to anybody, and you can make this case about her trying to run the guy over, that's not realistic. And for her to lose her life in that act is shameful. And most, I think, reasonable, rational adults, citizens of the United States, whatever party affiliation they have, would say, no, that's not the country that we would like to see. So that's the fear, and that's why I think that question was asked to those candidates, because this is real for people in Milwaukee County and beyond. Is it coming here? What will that be like? Got to take a quick break. Point taken. Chris and Steve, 620 WTMJ with our guest Sarah Godlewski.
The pulse of Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Annex Wealth Management. Love talking about Annex. The new year often brings more conversations with yourself and family members about what's ahead, who will carry on with your financial legacy, what needs to be in place so they can pick up where you left off. Reviewing your estate plan can give you clarity for your family's financial and emotional future. Unlike firms that sell commission products, Annex Wealth Management acts as a fee-only fiduciary, always focused on your best interest. The experienced team connects every part of your financial life: retirement planning, investment guidance, tax strategy, estate plans, all very important into one coordinated approach. With local offices near your neighborhood and convenient virtual meetings, I've done it that way. Works great. Annex makes expert financial planning and guidance accessible on your schedule, whether it's Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignites. They have the tools to fit your personal situation brilliantly. Visit AnnexWealth.com and click the now famous Get Started button to take the first step for you or your business. That's Annex Wealth Management.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well, you know.
Not in the fun way. Think warthog. With a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent can help. We've been Milwaukee's one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care under one roof. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Advent. Sleep better. Sleep together. Learn how you can improve your life at adventknows.com.
Drafty windows means wasted money. Call Siding Unlimited today for energy-efficient replacement windows and doors and start saving now. For a free estimate and honest price guarantee, go to sidingunlimited.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
A few more minutes with our guest, Sarah Godlewski. She is the Secretary of State for the state of Wisconsin. All right, so we always do a little grab bag thing, so we sort of let you pick the closing argument you want to make.
Well, I guess another thing that's been on my mind is that yesterday would have been the 53rd anniversary of Roe v. Wade, which we have seen in the state was overturned. And I think some folks to me say, well, Sarah, you know, that abortion bandwagon is gone. Like, why are we still talking about it? But the reality is that it's not. I mean, we just saw in the Senate, in our legislature this year, they passed a personhood bill that's now just hitting the assembly this week. That's literally saying an embryo would be the same rights as any other normal person. And why that matters is that means doctors can't do medical care. That means,
what does that mean for IVF?
It impacts IVF as an example because, you know, an embryo is literally the same rights as an everyday human. And so I share this because I'll be honest, I never thought that I would have this conversation now in my early 40s, but being somebody who saw my life with fewer rights than my mother and grandmother, I think we can never not lose track of this conversation, because I do think it's really important, and I do believe reproductive freedom is a fundamental right that everybody should be able to make those medical decisions on their own.
This came up yesterday. An emailer asked me about this because we're in another budget surplus for the state of Wisconsin. Are we asking too much of our taxpayers when we keep piling up these surpluses, when all we hear about on the other end is affordability, can't keep up with the bills, higher energy costs, grocery, all that stuff? Why do we keep amassing these surpluses when all we hear from the individuals in the state is stop taxing us so much?
Well, I mean, it's now a $2.5 billion surplus. And what the governor said are kind of his two top priorities. For example, I would argue three. One he talked about was property tax relief. I mean, I can't tell you how many folks in this state are like, why are we continuing to see our property taxes again and again on the rise? And we're seeing at the same time these school referenda over and over again to cover costs. And so building in, I think, property tax relief. He also talked about making sure our schools were funded. Because I'm talking to teachers and they're telling us about, like, they're continuing to buy supplies for their students because they don't even have the basic tools. Another priority the governor talked about was addressing the price of prescription drugs. And so I think that there are solutions when we hear over and over again about affordability. But yet it's like, I think that the conversation actually does need to take place in the legislature.
Will it?
I think that's
Will it in the next 2 months?
I mean, I think that, well, Kristin, I think that's honestly a really good point, is that the fact that they're going to be done for the entire year in February.
They're working in their districts.
We are a full-time legislature. And
I'm just telling you what they tell me.
I'm baffled by it all. And so why can't, if we've got a $2.5 billion surplus, why can't they come and figure out how to provide relief when we're seeing...
Do you think that's something he'll call, he being Governor Evers, a special session on? Be like, we got to figure this out even though you're out of session?
I think that's a good question. I don't know.
Sarah,
you can't speak for him?
Yeah, you shouldn't speak for the governor. But thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Just to put it in all perspective, we were talking about cold at the beginning of this segment. Texter, a listener from Fairbanks, Alaska, they had 3 weeks in a row where it never got above minus 40.
Whew.
That's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything in perspective.
All right, I will not complain when I'm putting on my sleeping bag jacket on my walk to my car today.
Always great to see you. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks again for having me, guys.
Lots more to come on the second hour of Point Taken Friday edition. Steve Kristin, 620 WTMJ.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy. IT? Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI. That's what I did. Really? How? Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up. Sweet. Are classes online or on campus? Both. Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is this weekend only inside the arena at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds. Millions of inventory must be sold. Prices are slashed up to 60% off retail, so save thousands. Save big on new hot tubs, spas, and saunas. Also cold tubs. Plus, see the Michael Phelps Signature Swim Spas by Master Spas.
Hi, I'm Michael Phelps. Join the swimming revolution.
The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show this weekend only inside the arena at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds. Visit 800spasale.com.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee and Waukesha. Griffin. The buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Recently, a seller that unfortunately ended up choosing another agent called me.
She said she made a mistake, and what she was expressing to me sounded like she kind of was bullied into signing with him. Is it typical? Not always, but it will never happen when you hire a Century 21 Benefit Realty agent. I want our agents to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'd want to work with me. Not because they're good at saying what you want to hear or offer the lowest commission, but because of trust. Because if you're not feeling that from your agent, that's a problem. And I don't want that. At 1.9% on the listing side of your sale with our commission capped at $19,000, Century 21 Benefit Realty leads with a very fair and transparent commission structure with maximum marketing that can get your home sold fast and for the best price. And saving money matters, but working with someone who'll tell you exactly what you need to know up front, that creates trust. And that matters too. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
No altitude, no excuses. This is Milwaukee.
Ahead to Giannis. Giannis rumbling the other way, and he's doing more damage on the rim. Taking it out on that rim.
The Bucks take on the Denver Nuggets at Fiserv Forum. Our Bucks Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 8 on the home of the Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
11:01, we're at 9 degrees below zero. Fleet Farm Storm Team alert, extreme cold warning in effect until 1 p.m. today for all of southeast Wisconsin. That warning continues till 6 a.m. tomorrow for Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, Dodge, Washington, and Ozaukee counties. Cold weather advisory in effect until 12 p.m. Saturday for all of southeast Wisconsin. High today 4 below zero. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. This bitter cold and wind chills take hold of southeast Wisconsin today through the weekend. Will it get a bit warmer this weekend? WTMJ meteorologist Craig Copeland tells Wisconsin's Morning News.
Saturday highs of 1, 2, 3 above. The wind chill's still going to be below zero all day long on Saturday. On Sunday, the wind chill may creep above zero briefly in the afternoon. Then it's back below zero all day on Monday for the wind chill, before the wind chill then gets back above zero a little bit on Tuesday.
Today's bitter cold weather not expected to break any records. If you are headed outside for any reason, covering up bare skin is just one thing to be mindful of.
Brutally cold weather can also negatively affect your breathing.
When you breathe in, that dryness can irritate the sensitive lining of our lungs.
Dr. Ben Weston from the Medical College of Wisconsin. The cold air is dry. Your lungs have to work harder to warm and humidify cold air before it reaches the lower respiratory tract.
And while your lungs are working harder, your heart is working harder too. That cold raises your blood pressure. It puts additional strain on your heart, and this can be particularly problematic for people with heart disease.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Warming shelters will extend their hours this weekend due to the cold. Most warming centers in Milwaukee usually open until 7. Some will be open all day today. For a list, text the word warm to the WTMJ Siding Unlimited talk and text line 855-616-1620. The first ever trilateral meeting between Ukraine, Russia, and the U.S. happening in the UAE. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announcing the meeting while speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. He had said the meeting will also take place on Saturday. With President Trump pushing for a one-year cap on credit card interest rates at 10%. Bloomberg now reporting a couple of banks, Citigroup and Bank of America, are considering plans to roll out new cards with those rates. Catherine Doherty with Bloomberg told ABC News.
If they are to offer a 10% card interest rate, then they have to figure out how to balance and take account for the customers that will default and that they're going to be losing money on certain customers at that specific interest rate.
Analysts have said it's unlikely a card bill will have enough bipartisan support to become law. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow down 243 points. NASDAQ up 108. S&P 500 up 7. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time 11:04.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
When you want the best medical attention, you don't just go to anybody, you go to a specialist. The same should be true with your car or truck. I'm Deb Cruz, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Mega Milwaukee. When your vehicle needs service, take it to a specialist, an Adam member new car dealer. Adam dealers use factory warranty parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians specially trained on the advanced technology on your vehicle. They have all the latest manufacturer's service bulletins and will know if your issue is covered by an existing warranty or if there are any recalls. And despite what you might assume, their prices are as low or even lower than the independent shops, even on routine maintenance and tires. Now, knowing all that, why would you even consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
For great paying job opportunities, visit adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Bucks take on the Nuggets tonight at home. Milwaukee enters the game at 18-31 on the season. Wisconsin men's basketball team extended its winning streak to 5 games, beating Penn State 98-71 on the road. UW returns home Sunday to take on USC. Milwaukee lost to Robert Morris 88-76 on the road today. Marquette faces Butler on the road. Milwaukee women's basketball team got back in the win column, beating Detroit Mercy 76-68. Milwaukee returns to the court Saturday to host Oakland. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. Here's your WTMJ time saver traffic. I-94 east at the ramp from 35th Street. Left lane was closed due to a disabled vehicle. That has been cleared off the roadway. Also, the right 2 lanes again open after a fire that blocked those lanes. I-43 north, about a half mile beyond the 41 interchange. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Fleet Farm Storm Team Alert. Extreme cold warning in effect until 1 today for all of southeast Wisconsin. It's extended until 6 a.m. tomorrow for Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, Dodge, Washington, and Ozaukee counties. Cold weather advisory in effect until noon tomorrow for all of southeast Wisconsin. High today, 4 below 0. Wind chills 25 to 35 below. Clear and cold tonight with lows 11 below 0. Wind chills 25 to 35 below. Sunny tomorrow with a high of 6. Sunday, mostly cloudy, slight chance of snow, high 14. Sunny and cold on Monday with a high of 10, and sunshine Tuesday with a high of 14. Still 15 below in Madison and Green Bay, 9 below 0 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Well, welcome back to the 11 o'clock hour of Point Taken. Yeah, just Steve and I for the rest of the show today, which I think we have things to talk about, don't you think, Steve?
Always something to talk about on the Point Taken show, and we appreciate a lot of the text. We didn't get a chance to read a lot of text, but I appreciate that you have commentary on all the things our guests say and that we say, and that's part of the show. And we've actually taken things that we've received on the text line and made them into segments on future shows. So we always appreciate input. If you want to have input or commentary, I'm going to ask you a question in a little bit here about Jack Smith's testimony in front of the House Committee yesterday on the elections in the future and what happened after the 2020 election and the conduct of the president in a second here. But 855-616-1620. I want to play, I'm going to have producer Jazz, play a little bit of the opening statement of Jack Smith yesterday. So if you're not, what are we talking about? The former the prosecutor of Donald Trump after 2020, looking at all the things the president did, election interference, the documents case, sort of oversaw the Department of Justice review of all of that, found charges. One thing I'll say about Jack Smith, he hasn't changed his mind on any of this stuff. And you'll see that reinforced, hear that reinforced in the words that he speaks. Here we go.
I made my decisions without regard to President Trump's political association, activities, beliefs, or candidacy in the 2024 election. President Trump was charged because the evidence established that he willfully broke the law, the very laws he took an oath to uphold. Grand juries in 2 separate districts reached this conclusion based on his actions, as alleged in the indictments they returned. Rather than accept his defeat in the 2020 election, President Trump engaged in a criminal scheme to overturn the results and prevent the lawful transfer of power. After leaving office in January of 21, President Trump illegally kept classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago social club and repeatedly tried to obstruct justice to conceal his continued retention of those documents.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. He spoke for a long time. He laid out his case, I thought, brilliantly. And obviously, you know where I come from on this case. I believe that many of these things, if not all, are true about the conduct of the president. A couple of interesting sidelights. One of the officers who was beaten on January 6th, Michael Fanone.
I was going to say, if we were going to talk about that, the altercation. I mean, that looked heated.
Yeah, Troy Niels. And then there was a gentleman in the audience, I'm being kind with the gentleman, who was a big advocate of this was the fault of the Capitol Police and fault of the FBI. All these weird things. Troy Niels, the congressman, went off on this tangent that it was because the Capitol Police and the response was inappropriate. Like, what world do you live in that's the way you looked at this? And this is what drives me nuts about this, and I know you have a lot to say on it as well. When you say back to blue, when you say you're pro-law enforcement, why is there an exception for the individuals who are tasked with protecting the Capitol and the lawmakers, of which you are one? How is there an exception for that? Do you not see?
Have you ever heard anyone give you a good answer for this?
No. The answer that I get from for certainly squawkers who I've engaged with on occasion offline, is that it's not a popular story among our listeners or our followers, so therefore we don't talk about it a lot. What kind of a person who talks about politics or the country and the culture and the society we live in ignores something because it's uncomfortable? And that's why I will bring this up when it's relevant, and certainly the testimony of Jack Smith makes it ever more relevant. This matters. And I go back to what I think I said at the beginning of the show, maybe it was yesterday. Every major Republican figure, whether on the floor of the House, floor of the Senate, or on countless radio and TV interviews, said exactly what I'm saying, is this was a shameful part of our history, and it wasn't the fault of the Capitol Police, and it wasn't the fault of the FBI. It was the fault of the idiots who showed up and decided that day, January 6, 2021, they were going to beat on police officers with everything they could find. That's not in dispute. That's not an opinion. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's what actually happened, because every lawmaker, every elected official, every Republican and conservative leader said that on that day. And I'll play the tapes if you want me to.
And it's interesting to think about the psychology behind this, because I'm thinking about and I'm in the present day of what we're seeing, not being there, but watching with our own eyes and having different opinions about when it comes to what's happening with ICE in Minnesota. And you can talk to people who live there. And so, but ultimately, most of us in this country are experiencing this through what reporters are getting out, what people are capturing on their phones, what's on social media. So like we saw this even yesterday with the story of the 5-year-old who's been captured. And like what is hard as far as like the image after image of feeling, at least from my point of view, of feeling like there is an escalation of force, and yet the need to justify it, right? And so it's like I'm trying to talk about the psychology of both, of the people who can look at the footage of January 6th or can look at the footage of, ICE agents pepper spraying someone in close range that hasn't put their hands on them but is yelling something, and being like, that is okay. But in a flip, would say it's not, depending on if the roles were reversed.
Yeah, that's exactly it. If your side, you're going to protect them because it's uncomfortable, but the other side was doing it and you're going to go after them, doing the same exact things, how does that make any sense logically?
Well, it comes to the church thing, and I don't know if I've said this on air yet, but because I know I think you said jump the shark when Don Lemon entered with the protesters into the church.
I'm not a fan of that.
And that's fine, right? But to me, it feels like a false equivalence of saying protesters going into a church is as disturbing.
I don't make that equivalence.
I know you don't, but other people are, right?
Yeah.
And that you can be more bothered by, some people are being more bothered and making a argument that was a bridge too far, the protesters going into the church, versus some of the force and violence we're seeing on people who are U.S. citizens, children, people who are going through the legal process, being paraded out of their house with no clothes in the bitter cold, and the church thing is worse than this.
This whole thing is maddening to me because you could make a case as a conservative that some of the ideas of actually rounding up people who shouldn't be here, and especially, pedophiles or whatever, their previous history has been, I think most Americans would support that. But when you have all
I would
these
also support U.S. citizens who are pedophiles being rounded up and actually charged, and people who are actually U.S. citizens who are criminals, and we put resources towards finding and holding them accountable as well.
But I just wonder why. I guess I don't wonder why, because it's the power of the party, where if you put all your stock in a person or a party, you've invested all your time, your energy, your social media posting, and your whenever you're banging on the bar in the corner bar at a restaurant about politics, which I would advise you not to do because it's uncomfortable and weird. That's all the energy that you put into this, so that almost anything a party or your favorite person does, you have an answer for. It's a great demonstration of what I've talked about for a long time. Is everybody wants to argue now. But here's the problem. Everyone doesn't make great arguments. They just want to argue. And they don't even care if it's based on conspiracy or nonsense or internet, whatever, theories. And we're not all defense attorneys. We're not all prosecutors. We're not all great arguers. But it's what passes for that now. It drives me nuts. I will never stop talking about this because I'm ashamed by what happened on that day. I don't like it. And I talked about it extensively on the show that I was on at that time. I don't have a problem with what Jack Smith did and all this phony baloney stuff that the guy behind Michael Fanone who was trying to intimidate him and stuff. What are you doing? This guy was a police officer. He's just doing his damn job.
He also looks like a pretty tough guy. Like, Michael Fanone is not someone I would want to fight.
He will beat your you-know-what if you let him.
He looks pretty tough.
Yeah. So stop trying to intimidate. And again, I'm a real back the blue. I don't just talk about it. I do it. I support police chiefs and police officers, and I honor them once a month for a salute to service. I put up and show up. And this fake stuff where you make stuff up, you try to take all these weird internet conspiracy theories and make that your argument. Be smarter than that. Listen better. Be smarter. What is the problem with this? So I guess my question is, and we'll put it out to the audience, and you can certainly weigh in as well, Kristin. My fear is that given this sort of disruption and chaos in a community like Minneapolis, Minnesota, and now maybe in Maine and other places, is this administration sowing the seeds of chaos? I know it's a long way out. November's a long way. To actually have a plan, this is now me conjecturing, that says we can't allow the elections to be done the way we have to have extra monitors. We have to have our enforcers on scene, I would argue, intimidating voters. That's my fear. Because when this kind of behavior that we're seeing on the streets of America becomes normalized, or on your favorite radio show, then it's easier to make those cases. That's my fear. What do you think? 855-616-1620. Will this sort of review of what happened after the 2020 election and the way that this administration seems to be conducting what was a campaign promise is now a reality on the ground in the streets of America, will that have any impact on those elections coming up November, or just on the general thought processes and policies of this administration until then? That's after this.
Restaurant inflation is everywhere, but not at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. The Friday haddock fish fry is all you care to eat. All other dinners are buy one, get one free, including the pan-fried walleye, the pecan-crusted salmon. They've got new dishes. They're delicious. I was just there. Try the new twin lobster tails, braised pork shank, and the mixed grill of a filet, shrimp, and scallops, all buy one, get one free. Any entree and dessert, buy one, get one free. Even the ice cream drinks, even on the weekend. Unwind with an old-fashioned. Choose from 20 bourbons, 100 wines in the Fox and Hound's Old World Rustic Bar, 8 dining rooms, 7 real wood-burning fireplaces, It's so cozy as soon as you walk in the door. Thousands of holiday lights and decorations are still up. It's amazing and beautiful. Saturday, your second prime rib dinner is free. Also serving Saturday lunch from 11 to 2, just off Highway 167 near Holy Hill. Google Fox and Hounds. It's the famous Fox and Hounds. Tables are open from 4 p.m.
Politics, work, daily stressors. Let's take a break from all that and get centered, Christ-centered. I'm Pastor Tim Butker. Join me each week for Christian Crusaders, a broadcast that highlights the gospel, the good news of Jesus, and our belief in the authoritative Word of God. Christ-centered, gospel-oriented, Bible-based Christian Crusaders. Please join us Sundays at 6 a.m. on WTMJ. We'd love to have you worship with us.
Get big-time savings for the whole family at Fleet Farm's first truckload super sale of the year. 50-pound bags of Sprout Poultry Crumble and Pellet Feed are $11.99. Save 20% on clear Sterlite storage totes. 12 packs of Scott Comfort Plus toilet paper are just $3.49. And save 25% on Skechers footwear for the family. Load up at Fleet Farm's Truckload Super Sale, January 22nd through the 25th. And check out all the truckload deals at fleetfarm.com.
Kristin and Steve on Point Take. I want to give you a chance. I was talking a lot in that segment. I want to give you a chance.
Fired up.
I'm curious what you I do fear that there are going to be some sort of, for lack of a better term, shenanigans with the November elections on behalf of this administration. And I'm not comfortable with that, and I worry about the impact of that.
I mean, I don't know if I have any differing thoughts on that. I'm certainly also worried about it. I think it's hard to tell how likely. I mean, there's certainly people who are already warning about that. And what's hard is the information of our time. We have more than ever, right? We've talked about this before, is that we went from having, places that have news deserts to news floods. And this is kind of going back to the point when I was talking about all the information that's coming out. And yesterday we had, with a very different tone, J.D. Vance be briefed on things in Minnesota and address the press. And he had a less combative tone than he sometimes has.
Right.
And, tried to make the argument that Liam's father was an illegal alien and was given the opportunity to, be detained, and then took the boy with him, and gave a different story than what the family's lawyer and the principal from Liam's school gave. And you don't know who to trust, especially when yesterday the White House account doctored a photo of one of the church protesters.
Which they admitted to.
And they called it a meme.
Mm-hmm.
And changed her face to look like she was sobbing when she was being arrested. And so we also have what Kristi Noem said happened in the Renee Good shooting be different than what we all saw in the video. And so not knowing who to trust in this time between the journalists who are there, firsthand accounts of what you're actually seeing in your video, but is that AI? What's coming from the actual administration, but can you trust them anymore versus them like spinning the tale that makes them look better and that they're justified in their actions? And so the inability to understand who has the most and best information, including when it comes to people who are very afraid that whether it's the Insurrection Act or some kind of chaos will keep us from having midterms, and how much to buy into those people who are explaining how this could happen versus labeling it as potentially overreacting and democracy will overcome. And so I think to be overwhelmed with the worst case scenario is a hard way to go through life. And also, the optimists are the people who stayed in Germany.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things that a lot of people are mentioning on the text line is, this is, I get what Project 2025 is, and now it's 2026. And, whether that's a roadmap to, it seems like a lot of those things are sort of happening.
Yeah, it's like 50%. They've accomplished like 50% of it.
So I remember famously the president denied having ever read it. Now, I probably would agree with that. He probably has never read it because he doesn't read a lot anyway, including the security reports that he's supposed to be briefed on every day. But I think all of us have to understand, unless you're burying your head under your pillow or in sand, it's pretty clear. And again, polling is polling, but the remarkable difference in the popularity of this president last year versus this year. It's on almost every issue. We're talking double digits, 20%. I think I saw 38% on one of these issues. Is not as popular. The ideas aren't as popular as they were pre-election last year. So I think 2 years ago, I have to think about this from this perspective. If that's true, what are the odds that in November, this president, his administration will lose both the House and possibly the Senate? Senate's a little tricky.
Well, that's what I was thinking about, just politically going into Maine, knowing that that's one of the seats in the Senate that is up for grabs.
Yeah. So
given Susan Collins usually survives, which is crazy, but you know.
And given that unpopularity, if this administration loses those two places, what's the reaction from the President of the United States? That's why I'm concerned. Lots more to talk about on the program today. We'll have some fun in the last half hour, as we often do on Friday. She's Kristin. I'm Steve. Point taken. Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Have you listened to WTMJ Outdoors yet? Well, what are you waiting for? Every Saturday at 2 right here on 620 WTMJ. Stories of the outdoors in Wisconsin and beyond as we celebrate everything in recreation. We celebrate the best of Wisconsin outdoors, from hunting to fishing, rock climbing, ATVs, everything outdoors. The best of Wisconsin on WTMJ Outdoors.
It's WTMJ Outdoors, presented by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Advent. Snoring issues, tossing and turning, restless nights of sleep. Does it sound familiar? Maybe your bed partner is elbowing you in the middle of the night because you're snoring incessantly and they can't fall asleep themselves. Well, I had that problem. I was the snorer. My wife, Kathy, was perfect. She's a quiet sleeper. But I went to Advent to fix that problem, and they put me at ease. We added a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They figured it out for me really rather quickly. That's a very common problem. Now, everyone's different problems, different solutions. But for me and a lot of other people, it was sinuses and nasal passage in my breathing triangle. They did a very short procedure, less than a half hour, probably 20, 25 minutes. Fixed my problem, and I've never snored again. That's pretty cool. So if you struggle like I used to 6 years ago, I'm fixed. You can be fixed too. See how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com. Adventknows.com. Schedule an appointment today. Do not wait. That's another New Year's resolution you should do. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Ever wonder what it takes to feel truly wealthy and financially comfortable? Schwab asked Americans that question, and most said at least $2 million. But here's the thing, your number might be different. And that makes sense because your dreams, travel, retirement, and the legacy you want to leave are unique to you. That's why you need advice that's just as personal. The team at Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen and help you build a plan that fits your life. Click the Get Started button at annexwealth.com.
Since 1956, the Adair name has stood for craftsmanship, honesty, and taking care of people the right way. I'm Austin Adair.
And I'm Chelsea.
My grandparents started this company with nothing but hard work and pride in every single job. My parents carried that legacy forward, and today, my wife and I are proud to continue it as third generation of Adair Floors and Remodeling. This isn't just a business to us. It is our family name, our reputation, and our promise to you. At Adair Floors and Remodeling, we help homeowners upgrade with confidence. Whether you need luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, carpet, tile, or a full remodel, our team handles everything from design to installation. Quality products, professional crews, clear communication, and results you'll love. That's what 3 generations have built and what we stand behind every single day. Visit Adair Floors and Remodeling today at our large showroom located in Franklin, or give us a call at 414-761-3660 for a free estimate. Adair Floors and Remodeling. 3 generations, 1 standard.
All right, if you haven't heard, we have a newsletter.
What?
Extra Points is what it's called. It's and we've done a great job, I think, in wrapping it up. It's a lot of our content, but we're going to start adding in some other pieces of the station and some of the cool things that we like.
Yeah, because if you didn't know, we're in an election year. So we're going to start combining or crowdsourcing all of the election coverage from other shows, from our newsroom, obviously from this show, and put it in a segment in the newsletter for Decision Wisconsin. I'll put the link in from the forum on Wednesday as far as if you did not go back and watch it. So we'll put that in for this weekend. We'll put our interview with Missy Hughes. Did we do any other election-specific interviews this week?
Well, a little bit with Sarah Godlewski.
A little bit with Sarah Godlewski.
So
obviously, the newsroom wrote up, had a write-up for the forum. But yeah, so trying to continue to add more content that you could only get in the newsletter to the newsletter.
Yeah, so it's real easy.
a reason to subscribe?
Two ways, the easiest ways. If you just text the word extra, EXTRA, to 855-616-1620, you can find it that way. Or if you're on the website, because a lot of people go on the website every day, there's a banner that's, you just click on it, it takes you right to the page where you sign up. There's like your name, where you live. I think that's it. It's like
and we're also announcing a contest.
Yeah, that'll be coming
Monday.
up. Maybe Monday. We're still working on some of the legalities, but that's coming too, which will also be fun. And it has a Brewers theme.
Because it's coming. It doesn't feel like baseball season is close.
Oh, that's going to be here quick.
Weirdly, it is.
All right, so we have
early. Is this the earliest home opener ever?
Pretty early, yeah. We got local news coming up here with Connie Weber. Here's now, hopefully, the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Federal authorities say former Olympic snowboarder from Canada turned alleged drug trafficker Ryan Wedding has been taken into custody. The FBI says in Mexico, and Mexican authorities say Wedding turned himself in. Akil Davies is assistant director in charge of FBI's Los Angeles unit.
We've worked with our Canadian partners, our Mexican partners, our partners in Colombia and the Dominican Republic. The Treasury Department has sanctioned 19 people, including Ryan Wedding himself.
Wedding is accused of murder and also running a transnational drug trafficking operation with ties to Mexico's Sinaloa cartel. A monster storm packed with ice, snow, and dangerous sub-zero temperatures on the move already in the southwest. Forecasters say a thick layer of ice could paralyze states across the south and Midwest. More than a dozen states have already declared states of emergency. Airlines also canceling hundreds of flights in advance of the storm and telling travelers to accept travel waivers. This is ABC.
Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 11:31. I'm Connie Weber. Today is expected to be the coldest day in Milwaukee in roughly 5 years. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Brian Disnansky.
This is dangerous stuff. This is the reason why the schools are canceled. Again, even afternoon, evening, 30s below zero. Starts to get a little bit better, especially by Saturday, back into the teens below zero.
Your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in less than 5 minutes. State Senator Rob Hutton will not seek re-election this fall. The Republican from Brookfield elected to the Senate's 5th district in 2022. Before that, Hutton served 4 terms in the state assembly. Democratic State Representative Robin Vining and small business owner Sarah Harrison both running for the seat. Republicans currently hold an 18-15 majority in the state Senate. Fiserv Forum will swap NBA action for high school hoops Saturday for the Deer District Prep Showcase. 12 boys basketball teams from across Wisconsin will take part in an all-day event featuring 6 games, tipping off at 10 a.m. and running every 2 hours till 8 p.m. The showcase, hosted by Fiserv Forum in Bound, Wisconsin, highlights some of the state's top programs and college prospects. General admission tickets are $20 for all 6 games. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Still a mixed bag on Wall Street, with the Dow down 232 points, 49,151. NASDAQ up 128, 23,564. S&P 500 up 10 at 6,923. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I-43 north, about a half mile beyond 41. Right shoulder there blocked due to a broken down vehicle. 94 east at the ramp from 35th Street. Left lane was closed due to another broken down vehicle that has been cleared off the roadway. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Fleet Farm Storm Team Alert. Extreme cold warning in effect for another hour and a half, 1 p.m. today for all of southeast Wisconsin. That cold warning continues till 6 a.m. tomorrow for Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, Dodge, Washington, and Ozaukee counties. A cold weather advisory in effect until noon tomorrow for all of southeast Wisconsin. Sunny, windy today with a high of 4 below zero. Those wind chills 25 to 35 below. Mostly clear and cold tonight with lows 11 below zero. Sunny tomorrow with a high of 6. Mostly cloudy, slight chance of snow Sunday, high 14. Cold and sunny on Monday with a high of 10, and sunny again Tuesday with a high again of 14. Right now, 14 below in Madison and in Green Bay, 9 below zero in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:34.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, best-selling author and founder of the Neal Group. Well, here we are. It's 2026. Remember last year when you said never again? Did it work? You didn't start your business to spend so much time doing bank reconciliations, cash flow projections, or inventory analysis. Let us help you keep your New Year resolution to stay on top of your finances and keep your books up to date. Don't do the same thing this year and expect different results. Start the year off on the right foot by calling the Neal Group to help you understand your numbers and make them better. You earned it. We help you keep it. Call 414-325-2040 now to set up a meeting to see how you can make 2026 the best year ever. The first meeting is free. That's 414-325-2040 or visit us at nealgroup.net. That's N-E-A-L group.net.
We understand it's getting harder for you to find new employees. That's why we recommend using broadcast media to our clients to help find them. And you know what? It works. For years, we've used it, and over we fill job fairs and keep a steady new flow of employees for some pretty important clients. Broadcast advertising works for employee recruitment, but with our market leverage, you'll get a lot more for your money than you'll get on your own. Anderson-Smith.com. We help businesses find new employees.
Anybody out there like political ads? I already know your answer, and it's because a lot of them are bad. Phony dialogue with the sound effects of a diner in the background, dramatic voiceovers with scary music that changes into happy, hopeful music when the candidate being pushed is described. Whatever happened to an honest pitch from a candidate that doesn't sound like they're reading, but rather expressing their genuine passion to bring about change? Use us and we'll drive that home, and voters will believe you. Anderson-Smith.com. We will help you win in the next election.
Some Fleetwood Mac as we wind down our show. And I know the midday folks are ready for action. Continuing the conversation right here on 6 WT.
Are we going to have some fun this half hour?
Well,
I feel like we had a lot of heaviness. We had a lot of...
Well, sometimes there's big things.
No, I know.
What fun would you like to have? What's your biggest prediction for 2026? I'm just putting you on the spot. Your big,
we have already well established my aversion to predictions.
I know, but you can do it personal. You can do it public. I'm going to make one about AI. So if you want me to go first, I can go first. Like I have one because we haven't really done a prediction show because you don't like.
What you have a prediction of what's going to happen with AI in specifically 2026?
Yes.
Okay, go.
And how it impacts us. And I'm stealing it from my favorite website, studyfinds.org. Because of the impact of AI, and often in our workplaces and certainly in the culture and the country that we live in now, I think the biggest area of impact for AI for individuals is going to be in healthcare. I hope
it's in healthcare.
Yeah, well,
that's what they promised us. They're like, AI is going to cure cancer, and now here is a picture of or video of a fake Matt LaFleur dancing on the sidelines.
Which nobody in my world wants to see.
You don't want to see that.
Yeah, you like the hot coaches, and he's one of the hot coaches.
He's top 5. He did not win so you might have missed this because they posted it on ESPN. But Maddie, who's the ESPN social media manager, had me after we had our conversation with Alex Strofe about NFL coaches getting younger and hotter.
Mm-hmm.
We had our own playoffs of hot NFL coaches.
How did the punk from Chicago do?
Matt LaFleur beat the punk from Chicago.
Good.
And the guy who was my Super Bowl winner is also no longer in the playoffs. It was the Texan.
D'Amico Ryan?
Yeah, D'Amico Ryan. He was
good-looking man.
Good-looking man. Also, there was another viral video of him talking to an older gentleman who is I think it was Pittsburgh.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
the chain mover who's been doing the job since like 1975. I was like, I picked the right guy. He seems very nice, very attractive, but he is out of the playoffs.
All right, so I think AI.
That's a tangent.
Yeah, it was a tangent. One that you love to talk about, so then therefore I love to talk about it as well. In diagnosis, why do I say this? Because I was talking to one of my doctor friends, and he said one of the biggest changes is they are now using AI technology, sort of in, you know how we use it to sort of shape and craft ideas about the show and sort of the approaches to different things that we do on the technical side and the production side, all that. They're going to, because the great thing about AI, it has access to every database, every piece of information that's inputted or it has access to. And instead of a doctor saying, this is how I typically have treated gout, for example, just pick some random thing, experience, case study in my little group, my medical group, whether it's a facility or a large organization, you can now look across the world at millions of cases and how doctors, some new and some old, have approached the subject of gout, that illness. And the best case, the best remedies often come from the wisdom of crowds, as they'd like to say. I forgot the author of that book, but it's a brilliant book. Look it up. That ability to sort of look at all those things and make a more accurate, more up-to-date diagnosis for even a doctor is going to benefit us. And on the mental health side, we'll see some of this because often I have a couple of friends who are psychiatrists, and they will tell me that there are ways we can do things better, but we don't always adopt those ways. So I think AI, if it's used properly in the medical fields, I think could be one that could happen sooner rather than later. Because the AI technology is already put in place. Obviously, the data centers are the compute side of that, right? The firepower to make that happen. And once all the doctors have access to that, maybe not this year, maybe next year, we should benefit from that. We should be more efficient. And hopefully, here's my dream and hope, it lowers the cost of healthcare, which how often do we talk about healthcare, not on that side, but the higher costs. So that's my
Well, I also think as we think about what can be done when we talk about healthcare shortages, like body resources of people having, whether it's nursing jobs or different primary care doctors, and the opportunity that some of the work that could be automated, that is charts or whatever. I've never done that job, so I don't know everything it entails. But the opportunity to make the people who are doing the jobs do the things that humans need to do and offload some of that work onto AI that needs to get done, but doesn't necessarily need a human to do it.
Yeah. And I don't have the fear that, even though some of this is real, that humans will all be replaced. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's going to force our country or the world to look at employments, the interaction between employer and employee differently. So I'm optimistic that we can figure that out. Will there be rough spots? When is there not a rough spot in anything? Whether it was the advent of technology just on smartphones and all that stuff.
Because I think it's an objective fact to say the wealth inequality over the last 20 years has exploded, like skyrocketed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what needs to happen with it, the introduction and explosion of AI that doesn't exacerbate the wealth inequality even more, that like the winners and losers become even more distinct of who is getting rich off of this technology and who is getting poorer because of this technology, whether it's layoffs or automation and all these different things. That gets even worse and more unstable versus the opportunity to have AI even the playing ground a little bit.
I mean, that's the big question, right? Will that happen?
Because even I think it was at Davos this week, one of, who said, because I wrote it down because I was like, oh, this would be an interesting thing to talk about. Like, and this guy is not poor, but talking about like, we can talk about, taxing the rich or whatever, but like there is actual negative externalities for societies when wealth inequality is this high.
Yeah.
As far as the instability, the health crisis, like there's just a lot of bad things that happen when there's this many people struggling versus that few people having more money than they could ever spend in a lifetime.
Yeah, not to make you more fearful, but having now listened to...
And we're supposed to be having fun
We are. I don't know how maybe I derailed it. We're going to have fun because we're going to have a weekend review put together by our producer, Jazz, after this break.
Great.
That's fun. But last thing, and again, this is not a positive, I've watched enough documentaries and shows and interviews with the leaders of the tech world, the Elon Musk and all those folks, the Bezoses. I don't have a lot of faith that they care about that a lot. I just don't.
The interview with Peter Thiel when people are like, oh, should humanity survive? And him not being able to say definitive yes. That didn't bolster your faith and how he thinks about humanity.
And the fact that they're all men.
That too. Yeah. Have you watched Mountainhead yet?
No.
Watch it this weekend.
All right, that's an order?
That's an order.
All
That's
right.
your homework.
After the break, week in review, right here on 620 WTMJ.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella Windows and Doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gina Della to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
Brewers mini ticket plans for the 2026 season are available now with 6-game, 12-game, and build your own plan options. You can pick or build the best plan for your schedule, whether you're gearing up for tailgates under the sun, the thrill of the home runs, or the eruptions of walk-off wins. Brewers mini plans have you covered for the 2026 season.
He will prioritize your needs no matter how sensitive they are, just like he did with mine. So whether you need a complex dental procedure, a simple cleaning, teeth whitening, Economwalk Dental will always make you feel as comfortable as possible while still giving you and your family an amazing smile. And it doesn't have to be so expensive that you're like, I can't afford this, because Dr. Michael's fantastic staff can put you up on a no-interest payment plan. So you have to go to the dentist. I have to go to the dentist. I am going to the dentist, I think, in the next 2 weeks. So don't put it off any longer. Call and make an appointment today with my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economwalk Dental Care, 262-567-7224.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is this weekend only inside the arena at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds. Millions of inventory must be sold. Prices are slashed up to 60% off retail, so save thousands. Save big on new hot tubs, spas, and saunas. Also cold tubs. Plus, see the Michael Phelps Signature Swim Spas by Master Spas.
Hi, I'm Michael Phelps. Join the swimming revolution.
The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show this weekend only inside the arena at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds. Visit 800spasale.com.
Day after day, year after year, the heavy lifting, the repetitive motion, and now your body feels it. Your back, your knees, your quality of life. At Access Legal, we stand up for people worn down by work. Workers' comp is our sole focus, and our team has recovered more than $35 million for Wisconsin workers. From sudden accidents to pain that builds over years of hard work, we're dedicated to fighting for the benefits you're entitled to. If you've been worn down by work, contact Access Legal for a risk-free consultation. Search AXIS Legal today.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
At Wisconsin's own Accunet Mortgage, our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks or the mortgage guys with the Rocket for exactly the same rate. Find out how much you can save at accunet.com.
Oh, I love this song because I'm looking forward to the weekend, which starts in about 13 minutes for me and Kristin. One of the things we want to sort of weave back into the show is the Weekend Review. Our producer, Jazz, he does a lot of heavy lifting and hard work on this during the weekend. It's all the voices and the stories you've heard on WTMJ. And this week, a celebration for a Milwaukee staple. The president pushes for Greenland. Extreme cold hits Wisconsin and more. It's the Weekend Review brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
What we do here is go back. Mavis from 42 online, and it's good!
The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck.
Members of the Milwaukee community singing, dancing, and celebrating the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This cold day has definitely warmed my heart, seeing how the young people have stepped up, embodying Dr. King's dream, but just putting it into their own words and what that looks like for them and their future.
Donzale Abernathy remembers MLK as Uncle Martin.
He had a sense of joy inside of him, but he didn't want people to understand or see all that part of him. I am the great-granddaughter of slaves. Slavery wasn't that long ago, and unfortunately, it could happen again.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty, we are free at last!
Lots of people came out to the Sheboygan Common Council meeting on Monday, upset with the potential passing of an Amazon fulfillment center.
Amazon is laughing all the way to the bank.
So you want this in Manitowoc County then? Because it's going to get built.
And that will do it! And the rags to riches story for Indiana football comes to conclusion, and they are the national champions of 2026. What a football team!
He can try it again. He will, and hit it. Marquette within one, 21.3 left. As good a game as you've ever seen by anybody at Marquette.
No.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Mayor Cavalier Johnson reading a special proclamation for Gloriosa's Italian Market, the business celebrating its grand reopening and 80th anniversary after being closed for 3 months due to a fire.
When you see, all these customers and everybody that showed up, it really makes you kind of forget about the last 3 months of the pain.
Trump is in Davos. He did say the United States will not use force. He did refer to Greenland as Iceland, right?
So confusing. You think a president would know the difference, but maybe not.
Greenland is covered with ice, and Iceland is very nice.
So last week, it was the first time an astronaut had left ISS for medical reason in more than 25 years. Kelly was thinking that there was a romance that may have spurred up in space.
Little bow chicka wow on board. We're going that. I don't know.
Final horn sounds, and that is that. The Thunder dispose of the Bucks.
There are 9 games left. We don't have time. We really don't.
Some big news out of the Brewers organization. They are trading 2-time All-Star Freddie Peralta to the New York Mets.
How is that fun to continue watching your favorite players go off to their forever home somewhere else?
Their forever home. I love it.
You're never going to forget that now, by the way.
This exploding trees thing, I ain't buying it. They will split and pop. I've heard them pop. Yeah, because I've been out.
Or crack,
but they're not going to blow up. Like, you're not going to be impaled by a piece of a tree coming.
Yeah, you might see some splinters and things. The way it makes it sound is like, I don't know if you're walking in the woods and you see a tree that gets hit by lightning. That blows.
Kaboom! Caleb Durbin joins us on the line right now.
You said you got a call from the school, and somebody told you, if you want to play here, you're going to have to get your ACT score up to a 32. And it made me wonder, what was his ACT score?
It's not an easy school to get into.
It's a cool place, and they say it gets colder.
How cold is it? It's so cold they canceled ice skating.
The Iceman cometh.
It's so cold the city of Milwaukee suspended garbage and recycling pickup today. Drop-off centers are also closed. Not that you would want to do that anyway.
You're bundled up now, wait till you get older.
What a week, eh?
What a week.
Life is cold, the world is cold, people is cold.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
All right, Weekend Review, sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited. I heard our voices on that, so that's good. That's one of the benefits.
We made it.
Having the producer, Jazz, our producer, do the actual compilation of all that. Busy week. Sports, country, world.
It's 2026. Is it ever not a busy week?
I could use a quiet week. Well, I'll have
a quiet weekend.
I'll have one quiet weekend and a quiet week in about 9 days.
That too. Steve on vacation. What?
How is that not a news story? All right, quick break.
Planning for 2026 starts now. The best way to start is to reach out with your design ideas, and we'll work on putting together a winning game plan and design set for a 2026 install so you can enjoy hanging out next year on your beautiful new deck. And lock in on discounted pricing before the 2026 price increases. A great way to save money on your next project. Stop by our Outdoor Living Unlimited showroom at 665 Larry Court in Waukesha or visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have outdone yourselves.
Are you talking about the One collection?
Those rings say you are the one.
And they say it symbolically.
Describe the symbols.
Every ring in the One collection should be presented with a special ritual.
What would that ritual be?
You pick up her left hand and you place a kiss on her ring finger.
Rick, you never told me about that part.
Then you show her the tiny red diamond, flush mounted inside the ring, that will forever be in contact with her finger.
Why is it red?
Because that's when the giver says to the one, wherever you go, my heart goes with you.
I give you this kiss. I give you my heart.
The red diamond is a secret symbol of that sacred moment.
The center diamond on the outside of the ring is for the whole world to see.
But the tiny red created diamond inside the ring is only for the two of them.
The One collection of engagement rings is available exclusively at Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you,
visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
The 6th annual Hales Corners Hometown Boat Show is on now at MW Marine. Check out the newest fishing boats from Lund, Vexus, and Ranger, all powered by Mercury Outboards. Grab a gorgeous 2026 model or save big on remaining 2025 Mercury-powered boats with substantial rebates. Demand is high, so get to MW Marine today. Free parking and free admission. Don't miss the Hometown Boat Show at MW Marine, MWMarine.com.
Education changes everything. It opens doors, shapes futures, and builds the foundation for our children's success. At City Forward Collective, we're working to transform our city's schools and ensure every Milwaukee child receives the high-quality education they deserve. We've taken real steps forward, but our work is far from done. This giving season, we're asking you to join us. Together, we can secure a stronger future for our children and a stronger future for Milwaukee. To support our mission, visit cityforwardcollective.org/donate. That's cityforwardcollective.org/donate.
After a crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. At Gruber Law Offices, we have the knowledge and experience to make sure you're protected. And we're here to help whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Milwaukee Public School leaders are redefining the role of student resource officers. The MPS Committee on Legislation, Rules, and Policies voted unanimously to draft a policy limiting SROs to criminal matters only within the schools.
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
So a phrase that is legit and it's serious. Extreme cold watch.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
If you missed the weekend review, I want to hear it again. It's very good. Just text the word week, not the A version, the double E version, W-E-E-K.
Which makes sense.
Of course, yeah. Unless you thought the weekend review was weak.
A week?
Then we have someone have a talking to. After us is this today, special day. Telly Hughes, one of the best voices you're ever going to hear on these airwaves.
Agreed.
I don't know what he does for side work, but the guy should be doing.
Doesn't sing.
He doesn't sing. But
I asked him that. Seems like someone would have a great singing voice.
I should have him do the audiobook for my book.
But I think he is. Yeah, that's the kind of work that he should be doing.
That'd be amazing.
Besides this work, but in addition,
what are you doing this weekend? So everybody.
We
can
have
know.
a very fun weekend plan. So we have an annual trip with Mike's cousins where we rent a cabin and we let all of the kids. The range is between 8 and 4 months of our kids and the cousins, and we all hang out in a cabin. So it seems like a good weekend to...
Yeah, you're not going to be going outside much.
To crank up someone else's heat and do their heating bill. But yeah, so we're going to Sheboygan, and I'm very excited about that.
I'm doing nothing but reading.
And watching Mountainhead.
If I get to it. My list is long.
It's entertaining. The Rip is also entertaining. We finished that last night.
I haven't even started watching The Pit yet. That's another show.
Also entertaining.
All right, I will see you Monday, yes?
See you Monday.
Don't do too much crazy stuff this weekend. Stay warm out there. We'll be back on Monday. Point taken. Midday's next.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, a weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market and how it affects Wisconsin businesses and residents. It's sponsored by the original Knowledge Broker, R&R Insurance. And joining us today, Jeff Salazinski, Executive Vice President of Insurance Operations. Jeff, the insurance industry dynamic as ever. You got broker mergers, broker lawsuits, and plenty of change out there as well. So let me rapid fire some questions at you and get your thoughts.
Great, Vince. Let's do it again.
So I read a headline recently that 2025 was the year of the big broker merger. What's going on?
The previous 5